And just like that, Starbucks stole the CEO of Chipotle, which brings up a ton of interesting questions like, should we now consider buying shares of Starbucks? Because that company used to be trash and now it may not be. What about shares of Chipotle? Should we hop out of that stock now? Should we consider buying at a discount? And everything in between. So let's go ahead and break it down. A lot has happened today. At the time that I'm doing this recording, the stock market is still open, so some of these numbers could shift. And I pulled together a ton of notes, and I made one move that was very interesting, or maybe interesting to you, so I'm going to be upfront and let you guys know that as well. So here's what happened. The CEO was Brian Nicole, or Nicole, however it is that you want to pronounce it, Niccol. And Starbucks has hired him away from Chipotle. Chipotle had been a very, very good stock. It is a company that I have talked about on this channel multiple times this year, but I started talking about it almost 2 years ago. At one point, I was up close to about 45% or so. And again, a company that we talked about doing a stock split. It did do that stock split, and a company that I endorse both with my wallet and, you know, with my budget, right? So a company that I have endorsed here on the channel, and you guys have seen me invest in it on public, but they don't have that CEO anymore. And this is one of the rare cases where not only just me, but Warren Buffett and other major investors will all say, hey, look, you know, I have my investing schedule, I stick to that schedule, but if there's a material change, something truly happens with the company that no longer makes it the company that I researched, the company that I bought a year and a half or 2 years ago, it ain't that company no more. The person who is steering the ship is not steering the ship. That the person who had their hands on the wheel, they ain't there no more. Okay, so I did have to sell the company, and I sold it at a 20% gain, which is not the gain that I used to have. So to me, this is an opportunity to sell, and for me, it was selling at a gain. Okay, so I gained about 23% at the time that I sold. Now, earlier today, shares were down about 12%, and by the time that I sold, shares were down about 7% on the day. So it depends on how long that you held, so on and so forth. The other interesting thing too, and I said this about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, this is one of those instances where you can do your research, you can do all the right things, and then you still end up wrong, and it's no fault of your own. Chipotle was a good stock. It is still a good and delicious company, but they just lost their CEO, which had nothing to do with you, right? And the stock just happened to be bad on this particular day. If you just bought Chipotle Friday, sorry, right? Nobody saw this particular thing coming. So things just happen in that way. Now, is this an opportunity for you to buy Chipotle for cheap and hold it for the long term? That is possible. That's absolutely possible. However, here is my concern with Chipotle moving forward. Number one, the time that we're doing this video, over the last 6 months, Chipotle is only up 0.71%. Okay, again, the market is open at the time that we're doing this video, so numbers could shift by the time that you are watching this. But it's only up 0.71%. That is not great. But over the past year, which is the time frame that we do these, it is up 40%. So good over the last year, not so great over the last 6 months. What does that tell you? It tells you that things are slowing down for Chipotle. That doesn't mean that's why the CEO jumped, right? But it does tell you again that things are slowing down. If I start to use our technical analysis, it means we're looking at a chart. You'll also see that things start to kind of curve off about mid-June or so. I think when I looked at a chart before doing this video, I think the date was about June 17th. Now, I don't remember if that was the stock split date or anything special, but you'll see that things start to curve off and then just kind of start to fall off from that point forward. Again, I don't know if that was a special day or not, but it does seem, again, that seems to have been the peak for right now. And then if you want to dig deeper into technical analysis, we seem to be getting close to what we call the death cross. Now, don't dig too deep into that. We have talked a little bit about it in our members only. I talk a lot about it in my course called The Investor's Toolkit. Essentially what this means is a technical indicator that says that once you cross a specific point in a chart, that this is when things get real bad for a particular stock, and it's a momentum indicator, meaning basically think of a roller coaster, right? You kind of hit a peak and things really start to accelerate in a particular way. Or you can have a golden cross where things hit a particular point and momentum carries that stock forward. So it looks like within a day or two, it's going to hit that death cross if it hasn't hit it by the time that this video ends or the time the market closes. That is going to just start to fall like a roller coaster. Now again, these aren't alarm bells. These aren't the worst things in the world. Chipotle could have a very good day tomorrow for all I know, right? And things could absolutely be fine. However, they did have a golden cross earlier, I think last year, and that signified that things were going to be great. Why we talked about it and why it gained the 40% that it has right now. So these things do kind of hold up. But for me, right, for when I bought it and the research that I had at the time that I bought, I got my gain. The CEO left. It made a lot of sense for me to sell. So for me, no, it is not a time to buy Chipotle. I think for me, it was a time to sell. For you, it depends on when you bought it, why you bought it, and what do you think about the company moving forward. When it comes to the financials of the company, to my knowledge, nothing has changed. But again, that is from when I did my research from it. I don't really see a whole bunch of things shifting. You might want to check the most recent sales report and see what has happened, and especially what happened in June. I would also really dig into who is taking over the company, what is their background. I believe it was a person who was overfinanced in strategy. I want to see what their background is, how long they've been with the company, what their plans are moving forward. Right now, I'm not going to be a person who's going to be around for that ride. I will keep them around my radar because at some point I can hop back on at any point in time should this stock get cheaper and then eventually come back up, because stocks do move in waves. But now, what happens with Starbucks? Because if that person was a star, right, the former CEO, could they also be a star for Starbucks? Let's go ahead and figure that part of this equation out. Before we do, don't forget that I am doing a free course on how you can create your six-figure investing plan. I'll walk you through all of the steps on how to invest and really start backwards. That is the way that you want to start to invest, is figure out how much do you need, where do you want to be, and then figure out the stocks and the investment and the tactics that you need to reach that goal. So that is the best way to approach investing. So you want to sign up for it, you can go to this link right here and also in the links in the description below. All right, so Starbucks has not been a great stock, especially over the last 5 years. At the time that we're doing this video, they were down 20%, down 20% over the last 5 years. This is not something that's new for Starbucks, unfortunately for them. Now, the time that we're doing this again, today alone, they were up about 21% on this news. Now, that is not something that's likely to continue day over day over day, okay? But they've had some internal issues, and it has been a shift. So first, is a shift in consumers, has been really consumer taste and the economy as a whole. And I don't know, let's just be honest, that's not something a CEO is going to change, okay? We have been really, for the Starbucks consumer and just us as a whole, the way that we view Starbucks, it used to be an aspirational brand. It used to be for fancy things and for fancy people, right? If you made it in life, I'm saying this facetiously, but if you made it and you had some extra money, you would go to Starbucks. That's just what you did, right? And it was really, again, it was office culture, or you were heading into work and you had extra money, you would go to Starbucks because you had it and you were going to work, right? That's how it was. Or I was at the office, I would go downstairs and there would be a Starbucks either in the office or across the street or whatever. That is how that worked. Well, in 2024, more people are working from home, so that equation is out of it. But more importantly, we are not aspirational customers anymore. We are value consumers because everything is more expensive. I'm not looking to be aspirational. I'm not looking to spend more money. Extra money is not a thing anymore. I'm looking to save, and not just me, everybody. We are looking to save every dollar we got, okay? And that's just how the economy went, right? And it's just how every company has increased their prices across the board, and a part of how the Fed has raised rates and just all of the reactions and chain reactions because of that. what is the CEO of one company, Starbucks, going to do to fix that? I cut prices? Is that what you're gonna do? I would like to see it. I would love for them to cut prices. But if you do that, is that going to really help Starbucks in the way that you would think? Now, some people say, yeah, you cut prices, you get more people in the stores. That brings us to number two. The other part, and if you are a Starbucks consumer and someone who loves Starbucks and you're on the Starbucks app, then you know, or perhaps you have seen it, wait times have gotten a bit longer. And another issue that I researched is that Starbucks has a pretty big issue with people starting orders on the app and actually not finishing. And the reason why Starbucks says this is they'll get on and see that there's a wait time. Perhaps it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever the time is, and actually leave. Now, I am not the biggest Starbucks person in the world. However, I have driven by a Starbucks, I'll see 4 cars and leave. I ain't got time for that. Because also, I'm not going to spend, I know I'm spending too much money on the coffee anyway, I'm going to just leave, okay? But people on the app will see the wait time and leave and say, I'm not going to do this. So, if you cut prices, more people come and the wait time gets longer, you're not going to get the money that you think you're going to get. So that is going to be an issue. And they have to figure out how exactly to balance that. The good thing is the same person who did the Chipotle app, which is the CEO who helped usher that era in, you guys have heard me talk about how good the Chipotle app is and how much money it has forced me, or encouraged me, didn't force me, encouraged me to spend at Chipotle. Perhaps he has something up his sleeve to fix or make the Starbucks app better and make it a better experience and help that whole thing work better, and also help the operations process work a bit better too, to help people get their drinks faster so it's not going to be an issue, and perhaps cut prices. I don't know. Okay, that is the issue here. Because I don't know, and because I don't have a great enough conviction, I am not going to put my money on it. And I'm not going to be comfortable telling a bunch of people to put their money on it either and feel comfortable doing that. I need to see a lot more evidence. And the other big issue is, let's say that, the person clearly has a resume. Clearly, Brian has, the CEO of now Starbucks, has a resume. But we don't know what the time frame, like how long is it going to take to fix a company? Like, how long does it take to fix a multinational company? And if you buy shares today, is this a 3-year project? Is it a week project? Clearly, I don't think logical people think it's going to be a week. But this is your money here that you would consider investing in this company. So think about it. If you are investing hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in a stock today, what is your timeline? And how patient are you going to be while he fixes this? And what is your expected return for that? I don't know what your return is going to be. I don't know what you would expect this person to do in that time frame. So because I don't know what you are expecting, and because I don't know what his timeline is, he ain't talked to me, right? And I haven't read anything from him around what his expectations are going to be yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see what your plans are, what do you expect, and see what the stock does before I even consider putting my money in it. And I want to see the momentum. You got to show it to me first, and then I can, I'll say, all right, you've earned the right for me to put some money into this, and then we can ride the wave. I need to see the waves first, right? I'm not going to sit in a pond and just hope, right? And just hope that the waves come. That's not how I invest. Right? Other people may be comfortable doing that. You might get some bragging rights because you was in the pool first. Fine. You can do that, right? It's just not the way, not the highest % chance of success in my view. So I'm not a fan of either right now. I'm certainly not investing in Starbucks. I'm not the biggest fan of Chipotle, just given what has happened right now. Both are on Chipotle is on my sell list. Starbucks is on my wait and see list. So I'm really out on both, watching both of them right now and just seeing. That doesn't mean either of them are necessarily bad, but especially with Chipotle, this just seems like a great time to sell and take your profits if you have made money on it, because we have talked about it. So I'm telling you now, I sold, I took my money, and I'm gonna go find something else, maybe some more energy stocks or something like that. But if you want to know other companies that you may want to consider for your watch list where you can make a bit of money or even look for some more dividends, you want to check out this video right here.